our next word is critical. Critical. Now, there are different meanings of the word critical, but in this video I'm going to talk about critical meaning really serious and important, like it being critical that an ambulance gets to the hospital quickly. And on a really hot day like it is today, it's critical that we don't leave pets in a car. So critical, meaning really important. We'll start, as we always do, by saying the word to get a pattern of it into our head. Critical, critical, critical. So again, do what helps you to remember it. You can clap it, critical. You can bang it, critical. You could stamp it, critical. You could shout it, critical. Do whatever you like that helps you remember it, because it's critical to get it stored. You might also like to practice the British Sign Language sign for important. Important, because critical means very important. Very important. So now we're familiar with the word critical, let's look again at what it means. I'll look in my dictionary. And like I explained earlier, it talks about critical being something that is extremely important, serious and extremely important. And let's look at the word critical in a bit more detail using our word map. So here's the beginning of our word map for the word critical. We'll start as we always do, read for what you said. Critical begins with a cr, critical, and it has 3 syllables, so 3 claps. Critical, 3 syllables. Begins with a cr, 3 syllables. Thinking about the meaning, green for what we mean. We've talked about critical meaning really important or extremely important. It's really important. People might also talk about things being urgent. They need to happen. It's urgent, it's really important, it's critical. And things being serious. So critical is about things being really important. They're urgent, they're serious. This has to happen. So for my picture, I will draw an emergency light, like we might see on a police car or a fire engine or an ambulance, to point out that this is critical. So we'll colour that in blue. And this drawing of an emergency light will just help me remember what critical is. It's really important. Our emergency services are critical. Thinking about blue for when we use the word, well, if we had an injured animal, we could say it was critical. Really important. It was critical. The injured cat got to the vets as soon as possible. It's critical. The injured cat got to the vets as soon as possible. In lessons, you might talk about things being critical. You might talk about the critical parts of an experiment in science, or maybe in food preparation and nutrition, also known as food technology. You would learn about healthy eating being critical for a healthy body. So healthy eating is critical for a fit and healthy body. And finally, think about other ways you might hear the word, see the word, use the word. We've talked about critical. You might also hear this word, critically. For example, a doctor might say it's critically important that we get this part of an operation right, or a football coach might be critically involved in a team winning a cup or a trophy. So critically means you're involved. I'll give an example here. It is critically important, so it's critical we get this right. It's critically important to get this right. And that's another way that you might hear about the word critical. We've talked about critical, meaning really important. So let's think about some things that would be critical. Well, up here, if people are injured, perhaps they've been in an accident, then it's critical that they get to hospital quickly. So critical that sometimes there might need to be an air ambulance, like in this picture. It's also critical that you study for schools and exams so that you can do your best, even if it makes you a bit grumpy like this. If people are watching a firework display or using fireworks, then it's really critical that they take care so that they don't get hurt. And it's also critical that we look after our pets and we keep them safe. So different times that we might use the word critical to mean really important. In this video, we've talked about critical to mean really important, serious and really important. Like I said at the start of the video, there are also a couple of other meanings of the word critical. So if you hear it or read it and it doesn't make sense to you, do check that with a teacher or a parent. But for now, your challenge is to think of something that has to be designed and made, like a house, or a computer console, or a space rocket, or a medicine. Talk with someone about what is critical to get right, what's most important to get right. So if we were thinking about designing a car, it would be critical that the brakes work well, and that it's reliable and doesn't break down all the time, that it keeps you safe if there's a crash. Those would be critical things to think about when designing a car. So choose something that has to be designed and think about what's most critical, what's most important to get right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.